Yes, hello everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on what your time zone is. Welcome to another episode of the free international webinar brought to you by the Institute of Global Professionals, or IGP. And we are pleased to have you join us for the 939th episode of our daily webinar and for taking part in tonight's or today's session. And we are coming to you live via StreamYard on Facebook and YouTube platforms. Thank you all folks for finding time to attend tonight's or today's program. And we hope you will enjoy the program tonight or today. And if you do, please let us know. If you're just meeting, I am Gafur M. Panimbang, an assistant professor from Adyong Memorial Polytechnic State College here in Lanao del Sur, Philippines. And of course, a proud member of the Institute of Global Professionals, which is sponsoring this webinar series. And I am so privileged to be your host for tonight's or today's episode. The Institute of Global Professionals, or IGP, is an ISO certified compliant training institute and a globally recognized multi awarded international professional organization. We are a nonprofit training institute dedicated to making it possible for anyone to learn anything and anywhere for free online at any subject level. At IGP, we provide free online and offline learning platforms for education and skills training for students and professionals like you, backed by international speakers, coaches, and leading experts from all over the world. True to our mantra, feed your skill, it is our mission to empower people by providing an overall learning experience that meets your needs and helps you to achieve your goals. We believe that free education, more than anything, has the power to break through boundaries and transform lives. I will quickly go through some points to note so we all have a seamless webinar experience tonight or today. Yes, our speaker for tonight will have the floor for about 45 minutes at the least in their presentation. After that, we'll conduct a short question and answer session. So if you have any content related questions you would like to ask to the speaker during this webinar, please type them into the chat window and we'll address them during the Q&A. We would like to get through as many of your questions as possible. Throughout the presentation, guys, you will see a couple of questions pop up on the screen that would allow you to engage with us while the presentation is going on. And we appreciate you guys answering those questions coming in. Today's or tonight's session is being recorded to be available for viewing post-conference on our Facebook page and our YouTube channel. That's Institute of Global Professionals. We are using our FB page and our YouTube account to store webinar recordings and make them available for public viewing. After this session, we'll be posting this recorded webinar on our YouTube channel for you to watch a replay in case you want to review anything. And we welcome you to revisit the content yourself and share it with your colleagues. Stay with us till the end for you to claim your e-verified certificate for tonight's webinar, as we will be sharing you the certificate code with the link down in the comment section below shortly before this webinar ends for you to download your e-certificate for free, despite of the fact that our website as of this time is still undergoing a maintenance. So we really make an apology for that one. And also join us in our exciting and interactive online quiz game competition to be conducted after the speaker's presentation. And if you wish to join the online quiz game as a player, Just simply go to slido.com, yes, using your own device and browser. And once you get there, you will see a window asking you to type in the event code. Just simply type in the event code and press enter. Or better yet, scan the quiz code that would be displayed on the screen for fast access. And pretty much you're good to go. The event code will be shared on the screen just before the competition begins. So please do hang out for that. The lucky top 10 players who would have the most correct answers and fastest response time will receive a quiz completion certificate, again, courtesy of IGP, of course. If you think this program is useful to you, please show us your support by sharing this webinar with your social media communities. Keep on inviting your friends and colleagues you care about so they can benefit from this program, or you can just simply tag their names. And if you like this program, smash the like button and subscribe to our channel if you haven't done that already. We also invite you guys to leave us a comment as we'd love to hear from you. All right? So tonight we are covering a very interesting topic that is, I think, this is of utmost importance to all of our teachers out there as we bring you a topic on millennial leadership and teaching approach in science. All right? And we are so glad to have two great speakers from the Philippines who'll be joining us, all right, to share their insights on the said topic. So now let's please welcome our presenters for tonight. We have Sir Julius Bailon, all right, a teacher three from STO Zambales, and we have Ma'am Arijun M. Dazo, also a teacher three from SDO Zambales. So without further ado, I will now turn the time over to our first speaker for tonight or today's event. All right. He is currently a teacher three from SDO Zambales and here to discuss a topic on the millennial and Gen Z as a leader. We are very fortunate in having us here, Sir Julius Bailon. Sir, welcome to the show. All right.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, good evening. We are so glad to have you here and share us your thoughts about millennial leadership and, of course, the Gen Z.
Sir, it's my pleasure to be one of your speaker for this evening. I'd like to greet everyone, fellow professionals. A blessed evening to everyone. So I'm teacher Julius J. Bailon. I came from the municipality of Subic, province of Zambales, country of the Philippines. Currently, I'm working with the Department of Education as Teacher 3 and currently the Supreme Student Government Teacher Advisor and working with the young leaders. So that's why my topic is all about the millennial leaders and how do they become the leaders of our new generation. So my insight for this topic is very, very relevant and as well as very helpful to my same teacher advisor to the every part of the world.
All right, there you go. So you can now get straight to the content of your presentation.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Okay. Okay, there you have it. This is my first slide. So my topic is all about the millennials and the Gen Y and Z as a leader. They are called as the contemporary leaders of the 21st century. Okay, so before we proceed to our discussion for this evening, I'd like first to uh, tell you what are the objectives of this session. The first is to determine who are the millennials, the Gen Y and Z. Identify the basic characteristic of contemporary young leaders. We should also analyze the social skills evident to the young leaders. And the most important thing is to comprehend the distinct characteristic of millennials and Gen Y and Z as a leader. Because nowadays, one of the most complex matter when it comes to leadership is the capacity of our new generation to lead not only our small community, but especially a complex organization that plays a very important role in our society. Okay, let us first identify who are the millennials. So according to the definition coined by the US think tank Pew Research Center, this includes all those born between 1981 and 1996. Therefore, millennials are now aged between 22 and 37 years old. So we can look at ourselves, so we can find out so if we belong to this group. So if we are between ages of 22 to 37 years old, so therefore we belong to the millennials. Then who are the Gen X and Gen Y? So the revolution was shaped by the millennials or Generation Y, also known as the digital natives. So what are the digital natives? So the digital natives are the cyber people who are very relevant in using our technology as their advantage and making use of these to be more aware in the latest in our world. So those born between 1982 and 1994 and technology is part of their everyday lives are called the Generation X and Y. All their activities are mediated by a screen. The concept of an on and off is completely integrated into their lives. However, they were not born into it. They migrated to the digital world from the analog one in which they were living. So now let's proceed to what are the characteristics of millennial. So what are the characteristics of this generation? The major event that decline a period in history, such as scientific and technological advances or economic crisis, affects the entire population, but tend to leave a greater mark on the younger adults since they are still forming their values and expectation. In fact, several studies shows that this impact not only affects them while they are still young, but tends to accompany them throughout their lives. In this sense, and in order to characterize millennials, we can look at how important events that took place at the global level while they were growing up. So between 1995 and 2010, approximately, may have shaped them in one way or another. So this generation has grown up during a period of rapid change, as we can see in our social media platform nowadays. So characterized by globalization, the digital revolution, and the great economic crisis of 2008. All these events have given them a set of preferences, attitudes, and expectation toward differs from those of previous generation. Okay, so another characteristic of the millennials, one of the main features of millennial is that it tends to make its vital decision, such as in forming a household, later than previous generations. According to the study by the Pew Research Center of the United States, the proportion of young people under 34 who are married is at an all-time low. So we must say that millennials are more critical when it comes to forming a family. In fact, millennials constitute the most educated generation in history. This is largely due to the demands of the modern knowledge-based economy, but also from the fact that many of them choose to continue studying due to the impossibility of finding work during the financial crisis. So if we will still remember, we undergo into a financial crisis of the year of 2008. So the battleground on that particular part of the history. So everybody is striving to become more educated and more intelligent, to become more capacitated in applying for their jobs. So one of the characteristics of millennial during that time is to be more competitive to find the work. Okay, so who are the Generation Z? So if the millennial and Gen Y and Z are more competitive, then who are these Generation Z? These are the age between 23 years old. Generation Z or post-millennial generation will take the lead in few decades. Also labeled as the centennials for having been born in the world at the turn of the century. The oldest, ayun, so going back, so they arrived with a tablet and with a smartphone in their arms. So they are now the more what you call this technologically advanced generation. So they are more knowledgeable in manipulating smartphones, Android phones, our tablets, And we must say that they are more um, much intelligent when it comes to our gadgets. So what are the characteristics of Gen Z? But what is Gen Z? It is a group of people that is marked by the internet. It is a part of their DNA. It stormed into their homes, their education, and their way of socializing. Especially during the time of pandemic, we can see that Gen Zs are more adaptive to the kind of education that we have, especially here in the Philippines. And if in Generation Y has difficulty finding job, the situation for the post-millennial is even worse. Their mastery of technologies may make them neglect their interpersonal relationship to the greater extent, but they are the ones who give more of a voice to social causes on the internet. As we can see it on the different social media platforms like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, so they are more freely to show and express themselves, especially telling something in the current events and political issues, social issues, and other issues that is related into their generation. They'd like to get everything they want immediately. A pack fostered by the digital world in which they are immersed, and their lifestyle is also influenced by the YouTubers. So that is what we call them. These influencers are called as our YouTubers, but eventually they are tagged as the influencers based on the likes, based on the react and the comments or the number of views that they can see from their channels. Okay, now I'd like you to watch this video for us to understand what is the difference between millennial, Gen Z, and Y. Okay, oh, wait. Okay, so while we are waiting for video, so I'm having difficult times playing my video. Okay, let's wait for a minute. Okay, I think I'm having difficult times playing this video, so let's proceed now to my next slide. So now let's proceed to the four leadership characteristics of a contemporary young leaders. Okay, the first one among the four is the reflection. So what is reflection? So young leaders nowadays are self-aware and think about how their actions affect others. Leaders who reflect on their actions discover what areas they need to work on and improve. This isn't always easy. The toughest part of this is, is recognizing that they could be a bull in a china shop, that you could be a part from the problem and not part of the solution. That is according to Girish Anantanarayaan, a CEO of Education of Non-Profit People. Leaders today are vulnerable and open with the teams around them at times. Girish added, he acknowledged his gets hard as a people rise through their careers, but that's what makes it is so important to preserve this approach. So according to this study of the of Girish, young generation of a leaders is a very reflective to their actions. So they're very conscious on how they react with the feedback that they can get from their constituents. So reflection for them is very important. So that is one important thing of one important matter when it comes to young leaders. Aside from that, according to Inandia Irawan, co-founder of Carbon Ethics, he said that it was important for the leaders to choose to be kind instead to be right. This calls for a level of self-awareness so that leaders can have open discussion with their team. As a young leader, it is important try not to scold if they make mistakes, but be honest with them and let them have ownership, not just accountability. Let them be part of a decision and it helps them to have more professional commitment, as she said. According to Leonardo Camillus, a CEO of Keperasi Kaisha Indonesia, he showed that commendable honesty when he admitted to being a really bad leader. I was focused on us, according to him, and I didn't care what people think. He changed his mindset and discovered that by caring about the team, nurturing them, and helping them to develop, this would enable them to do better in their work. If we develop our team, it will improve performance not in the shortest term, but for sure, and it's more sustainable as well. That's what she said. Okay. Okay, next is humility. So what do we mean by humility for the young leaders? For the young leaders, the second quality that today's leaders need is humility. Leadership for me is not about pay, check, authority, or recognition. It's about readiness to serve others according to Inadia. It's about equipping others with the right tools and strategies to help break down barriers and leading through example in this world we're living in. That's vulnerable, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. Inadia added, when working with the volunteers, her first question is always to ask how she can help others or them to develop and grow. Leaders should get to know that the teams on a personal level understand their professional or personal goal. As a leader in the NGO that I'm in, according to Inadia, she is more presented in the opportunity to make an impact in someone's life on a daily basis. And aim is always to leave positive footprints whenever they go. And she thinks that the ultimate test of the great leader is whether their people felt they were better person than the first time that they came in to join the organization. To do that, it means you've got to take a stand to their development as well. Okay, the third is compassion. So compassion is something to do with another key ingredient in the makeup of a modern leader is a sense of compassion and empathy. According to Farwiza Faran, a conservation activist campaigner working in Sumatra, she described her personal journey which grew from love of nature but then developed into anger at how people and but then developed into anger and how people and businesses were damaging the environment in the name of profit. However, this subsequently evolved as she understood the importance of acknowledging other people's point of view. Leaders, by definition, have people who follow, but dictating to others will not persuade them. Understanding them will. We need more leaders than exercise compassions over command, that nurture commitment and collaboration over control and hierarchy. Leaders can unite different interests, erase political division, and really lead empathy, said by Inadja. And lastly, we have the trust, one of the most important elements of the characteristic of young leaders nowadays. For leaders to get the best out of people, it can be easy to fall into the cliche of leaving orders. True leaders empowers those around them by trust. The ISCA council member Belinda Teo of EI Singapore spoke of how she originally walked away from the profession after enduring long hours and high stress. When she returned to work, she praised the leader who guided and empowered her along the way. These leaders were resulted focused but also trusted me to lead. I was micromanaged, yet those leaders were always available to me whenever I needed guidance and advice. And at the same time, they encouraged me to pursue areas outside my work scope. So according also to them, leaders also have the duty to drive performance in their organization, and it can be tricky to strike the right balance with promoting personal and professional development of the team. So leaders can overcome a tendency to micromanage by trusting the team, according to Girish. Okay, so this is another thing for the trust. Trust that your team has entrusted themselves with you, and trust that they have trying their best, have high expectation of them, but also support them in their journey, which may look different from yours. Shirish added. Nobody wakes up in the morning and says they're going to be a horrible person who doesn't get job done. That's not what happened. Trust is the core of collaboration. Trust is at the core of unlocking peak performance. Okay, so I have here another video. Let's try if we will going to play it. This is about the social skills of the young leaders or the 21st century contemporary leaders. Okay, good evening again. So sorry for the technical issues. So going back to my discussion, so we already discussed the four social characteristic of contemporary young leaders. So as a recap, so we discussed about the trust, the humility, the reflections, and okay, I think the internet is not good, so there are some issues. So going back, so we already discussed the four social characteristic of contemporary young leaders. So we have there the reflection, the compassion, the humility, and the trust. So those are some of the most important tips. So when we are handling young leaders, especially for us teacher advisors. So at this very moment, so our basic problem for our development of our young leaders is how do we manage them and how do we make sure that we are going halfway to the traditional belief that is very important by following the policies, the legal policies, and the issues that we can address when we are talking about leadership. Because as we can see, leaders now are they are more aggressive and they are more vocal, and sometimes it gives them it lacks their limitations or skip their limitations on how to treat properly the other leaders. So that somehow they become there's some conflicts when it comes to communication. Somehow they disrespect each other. But the most important things for us teacher advisors is to always guide them and always remind them that as a contemporary young leader, it is important for them to imbibe these four social characteristics and especially make sure that their leadership skills is always rooted with the things that doing good more, being kind more than being right. So always balance that issue. Okay, so that is my topic for this evening. So thank you very much for being part of this session. And that's it. Good evening, everyone.
Sorry for that. All right, so there you go. Thank you so much, Sir Julius Jimenez Bailon, for sharing us your invaluable thoughts on the topic millennial and the Gen Y and Z as a leader. You know, it was very interesting and informative. I kind of like your discussion specifically on the characteristics or the social characteristics of the Gen Z. What I know is that we while we are adjusting to the Gen Y, then here comes another group of young generations who are actually more advanced when it comes to technology. All right, so I'm kind of I'm kind of uh, somewhat like thinking of how could I place myself in the society where which group do I belong. Okay, anyway, you made mention about what do you call this digital native for the Gen Y, and so much for the Gen Z, and of course, in our case, they usually call us digital immigrants. So we have to do something on how we could possibly immigrate to this kind of generations who are actually more advanced when it comes to technology. No wonder these generations are living in the so-called uh, digital era. All right. And so your discussion will pave way for our, teachers and the society as a whole to really, what do you call this, understand the nature and characteristics of this kind of new generations who are actually, of course, they're going to be the future leaders in our society with a different, perspective and different, upbringings, much different from the kind of leaders that we used to get acquainted to. All right. All right. So again, thank you so much, Sir Julius Jimenez Bailon, for such a very informative presentation. All right. And you will
Thank you
join
very
us
much,
again.
sir.
Yes. You will join us again later for the Q&A portion, as I'm sure there's going to be a lot of questions coming from our live audience as they can relate much to the topic that you have just presented tonight. All right. So again, thank you. So at this time, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to hand the floor over to our second speaker. All right. Her name is Ma'am Arijun M. Dazo, also a teacher 3, also from SDO Zambales. All right. So she will tackle the topic interdisciplinary approach in teaching science using 7E model. All right. So again, join us in welcoming Ma'am Arijun M. Dazo on the show.
Hello, good evening, Philippines. Hello, world. I am Arijun M. Daza, a science teacher 3 of Subic National High School in the Schools Division of Zambales. I've been in the division Dep Ed for almost 10 years now, and I've been practicing actually or using the 7 E's for again I guess 3 years now. So the 7 E's is really part of my teaching. So that's why I my topic is all about development of from 5 E's to 7 E's and how our teaching, not only the method, but also our hope that our philosophy in teaching uh, will somewhat change after our discussion today or tonight.
All right. So there you go. So you can take it away, Ma'am Dazo.
Okay, so my topic is about interdisciplinary approach in teaching science using the 7E model. So first, um, let us define, okay, what is interdisciplinary approach. So it is an approach to teaching or curriculum integration that generates an understanding of themes and ideas that cut across discipline and of the connections between different disciplines and their connections. So according to RepCall on 2009, the importance of using interdisciplinary approach in the 21st century teaching is it asserts that the interdisciplinary institution forms and advances in cognitive ability and other educational researches. So what are the benefits of using the interdisciplinary approach? So it helps our students to uncover preconception, preconceptions or recognize biases and gives our students advanced critical thinking and cognitive level developments. Using the interdisciplinary approach also helps our students tolerate uh, ambiguity. So, and also to truly recognize or acknowledge a significant learning. So according to Faye, A significant learning takes place when meaningful and lasting classroom experience occur, such as the development of foundational knowledge. Foundational knowledge, when we speak about this one, it is made up of facts, theories, and principles or modes of learning that are essential to make advanced independent reasoning, problem solving, anything that is dependent and relevant to uh, everyday performing or accomplishing activities of daily living. Application of the knowledge and integration, not just only in a specific discipline, but across discipline also. And they using this interdisciplinary teaching approach, the student not, will not focus or will learn not to focus only on the academic side, but also they will learn to take into consideration the human dimensions, such as how to care for other people. And according to the constructivism or theory of constructivism, they believe that the natural way of how we solve problem is we learn by doing. Okay. It means that learners construct knowledge or gain knowledge not just by the simple because the teacher said so or the teacher discussed it or the teacher mentioned it or they were forced to memorize some theories or some ideas, but they gained knowledge because uh, they they processed they processed the information from themselves or because they have achieved some task related to that knowledge, not just because they have memorized it or the teacher asked them to memorize a certain topic. And that is why on 2003, from the five E's of the constructivist theory, Aikenscroft developed or expanded these five E's into seven E's. He added elicit, no, and expand. So let us go deeper into the seven E's of instructional model or cycle. So what is the instructional model cycle? And what is this instructional model cycle? And how this seven E's promote active collaboration with interdisciplinary and collaborative inquiry-based learning. So in the seven E's model, we have the seven E's. The elicit, which is the additional or the addition to the five E's. We have the elicit, the engage, prior knowledge. And it is the stage, no, where you can find out what your students know or this. So these are the suggested activities for our illicit part. Okay. So you can give, okay, you can give activities such as a show me board, a simple post-it games, a bingo game, a simple true or false question that can lead or draw their prior knowledge. Hello. So I was dropped. I think we're having bad connection. Sorry about that. Where are we? So we are done with, again, what is the significance of, we are done discussing with that. Okay. Okay. How does the 7 E's help promote active, collaborative, and interdisciplinary inquiry-based approach? Using these 7 E's, using the 7 E's, okay, an instructional model of learning cycle describes the teaching sequence that helps the students build their own understanding based on prior knowledge or experience. So the 7 E's promote scientific inquiry and constructivism. Okay. So since it is a cycle, we have to undergo from one phase two before we can go to another phase. So the first phase is your elicit. And the elicit part, again, sabi natin, elicit uh, gives or asks or it extracts or draws attention to prior understanding of our students to specific topic, no? And it assists in transferring uh, knowledge or data, and it will During this stage, it gives the teacher and what in this stage, the facilitator or the teacher is now framing of what to think or what do you think questions for illicit phase. So the show me boards, the post-its, think and pair, a simple bingo games, the second phase of the 7E is the engage. Okay. This is the phase where the students makes activity, no, and the students focus can the focus or it it stimulates their thinking and prior knowledge. The activities, the suggested the predict, observe, explain method. A teacher can demonstrate at this stage. Uh, the students can free write of what ideas they have or what topics they are. You can do also graphic organizer. The students can perform brainstorming and the famous think pair share method. You know? So this is the during the engage stage, you can give questions that can help them make a prediction. The questions or activities will depend again on the type of learners you can have. You can give them uh, guided, open-ended, or even E is the explore part is where the students make activities. This is an hands-on or the experiment, as we can say. So this is the phase where the students were given time to think, were presented. Exploring exploration activities can be established through experimentation, investigation, research authenticity, and research collection of data. One of the most famous way of dealing during the explore stage is your problem. In your explore stage, it provides students opportunity to observe, again, record data, isolate variables, design the experiment, even plan the experiments, create graphs, interpret results, develop hypotheses, and organize their findings. At this point, the teachers will only act as facilitators. No? The teachers may frame questions, the teacher may suggest approaches, and provide feedbacks, and assess understanding if the students are really uh, are really on track. Based from their previous activities on the explain part, the students will introduce models, the new laws, the new theories they have learned during the experiment phase. During the explain phase, they will summarize all the new theories they have learned, or new model they have learned, towards a coherent and consistent generalization. Again, inclined with the topic or the objective of the topic. During this explaining stage, the teacher may unlock vocabularies, no, and to explain the result of their explorations. Because sometimes, because of some examples or suggestion for classroom instruction. Okay. For the explain part, the students can construct an explanation and design the solution. They can, the teacher can design a simple argument to prove the evidence and obtain and in this part, the students will try to explain how they have arrived in that conclusion, what might happen, and what will the result always be the same, things like that. No? During this stage or this phase of the 7 is, the students will have a chance for a peer-to-peer review and evaluation of the results they have gained. The activity, which this is the phase where the student solidifies the thinking or applies the knowledge they have gained in the experiment. No? This can be an enrichment activity or a problem solving related to the activity, a verification activity. It can be a decision making activity, experimental inquiry, or simple thinking activity. The students may work independently at to this phase. The students may now demonstrate learning through they can now correct the misconceptions from the previous activities. Students should be able to answer the big questions by now and would be independent in performing or accomplishing the given task. These are the suggested activities for your elaborate extend part. So you can give a student role playing, conclusions or reports. You can have a simple quiz at this point, no, or a simple assessment. If you can go or you can advance to the next phase, or you have to go back to the explaining part or experimental part, no. If you think, or if the assessment after this elaborate or extend part, you think that your student now has the mastery, then you can advance or you can go now to the last part of the of your cycle, which is your extend. Sometimes the facilitator already mastery of the topic. That's why sometimes the elaborate and the extend part can be taken as one. But if again, if you think your students need more activities or more reinforcements, so you may extend or you may elaborate your topic. You can give another uh, problem for the students. You can give them, or you can ask them to uh, design a process. If your evaluation can be a formative, a summative, an informal, or formal. Your evaluation provides an opportunity for learners to access their own understanding and be able to demonstrate the depth and breadth of how the others how the other understands, no, including the teacher, about the topic. and skills of the students? No? Was there a transfer of knowledge? Can conserve learning, no? By the how the students can conserve energy. I think yes, I'm back. So we are we are now in, let us go back with the part where I think I was dropped. Okay. So we are in, let's go back with the extend part. So the extend part, this is the part where the student face challenges, no? And the stage where the facilitator encourages the students to apply the concepts and the skills in new situations. Students will make connections not just in the subject studied, but also to be able to transfer this knowledge into other discipline. Like for example, uh, the teacher will ask, uh, what will happen? What do you think will happen to a glass full of water if we left it or we if expose it under the sun for 3 hours? Okay. Okay, so that is the question of the teacher. The teacher in this part will try to ask questions, no, that is not limited to the expected answer. She he or she can ask same or relevant questions that is related to other disciplines, such as in research or in math. For example, how much water do you think will
Yes,
the
hello, ma'am.
ideas or yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
Okay, so you're back. So please continue. Proceed, proceed. Sorry for that.
Okay. Yes. A student will make connections not just in the subject or subject studied, but also in the other discipline by asking uh, questions or interrelated questions about what will happen to the glass of water exposed under the sun for 3 hours. You can ask math related questions, no, or research related questions. But then again, your topic is just about the glass of water exposed uh, under the sun for 3 hours. No? That is the principle we want to apply here, the interdisciplinary and the inquiry, because the student uh, will learn how to answer the big questions using the way they the way they understand or their own way of presenting the questions or the answers to the problem. No? They will be able to apply the idea and generalize and transfer the principles not just in the field of science but also answer your questions using or uh, relating their answers in other fields. If we can relate the big question like uh, in philosophy or feelings like that, it's better to make your discussion uh, and during this extend part, the student will design or correlate the new knowledge to real life situations or existing problems. Ah, maybe some of your students will answer, Mom, I know what will happen because sometimes I forgot my juice or I forgot my water one day and I saw this thing that the water was reduced into half. Okay, so it is since in this part, the extent part, they have realized that yes, because of the teacher's art of questioning. The teacher's art of questioning will play a vital role in our application of the 7 E's. Okay. Case. The suggested activity is a role play, no, because of the application of knowledge to everyday life. Are a demonstration, or you will let also your students to demonstrate what they have learned. Okay. So after your extend part, no, as I have mentioned a while ago, evaluation can take place even you are in the middle of your discussion, even if you're still in your exploratory part, you can evaluate your students. Even if you're already in your elaborate part, you can always evaluate your students. No? Said evaluation task, you can ask your student, you can ask the self and peer assessment. You can ask to make a journal, a show me board, or simple thumbs up, thumbs down uh, system. Okay, a mind map. These are the suggested modern way of assessing our learners' transfer of knowledge. What is the big question? What is the big picture of our topic? And after we have identified what is the big part or what is the objective of our topic, okay, so you will now program or you can draft your illicit part. What questions can I ask my student to elicit their knowledge? What is their uh, learning style are my students? Will I give them uh, continuation of your illicit question? Sometimes the answer to the illicit question can be a springboard of your engaged part. Or sometimes this engaged part is can be an activity based from the answer of your students. Okay. Then after that, and if you think your students are ready to go to the next phase, which is your explore part, now you give your students an activity. No? And can be an experiment, no? And we always remember when we give activities to our students, we have to identify what type of learners do we have. Are we handling advanced learners? No. So if we are handling advanced learners, we can give them, uh, we can ask them, no, to formulate or they can draft their own procedure, no, and just guide them on what is expected, what is the expected outcome. Okay. For example, you're in uh, right. Okay. For example, you want the outcome of your laboratory experiment, for example, is you want to find out what gives more electricity, or what gives more electricity? Is it a papaya, papaya leaves and papaya seeds against uh, used coffee grounds? Now, which produces more electricity? Is it the papaya leaves or the coffee grounds? If you are handling advanced students, you can just give them you may give them what is the expected outcome. Or you can give them the guide questions, and uh, they will make, or they can develop the procedure on how they will answer your question. Okay. But if we are handling students that is need to be guided, so we have to give them the whole procedure, the guide questions, and sometimes we give them choices on how they want to perform the activity. No? So that is in the explore part. And for the explain part, again, as mentioned earlier, in this is the part where the students share their answers to the class, or they can explain their answer through diagramming, role playing, or even if they can develop formula, no? And this is their own way of answering the questions in our explore part. Again, the facilitators should be careful on the misconceptions. The facilitator may jot down or can suggest we always suggest our students. No, we just guide our students. We don't tell our students that that your answer to the question is wrong. As facilitators of the 7 E's, we always suggest, no, suggest activities to students to to correct the misconceptions. But it it is not, or parang it's a unwritten rule that we don't tell our students na your answer is wrong. We don't do that in the 7 E's. We suggest students, or we give follow-up questions for our students, so they can what they still have before we can go to the next part, which is the elaborate part. Oh, the elaborate part, the facilitator can add, no, that can add ideas or topics about asking questions. We keep on asking questions until the correct answer or the answers we expect from our student. No, they give the answers we want to hear. We don't just give the answer because we're tried of the wrong quest or the wrong answers they keep on giving us. No, if they keep on giving us the wrong answer, then we keep on giving them questions. We don't stop there. Na, okay, that's it. I've given you 10 guided questions or 10 questions and yet you still fail to come up with the correct idea or the correct answer. What we do is we go back. No, we go back to the uh, last phase. Maybe in the explore part, it is not yet clear to them what is the objective or what will be the outcome of our discussion. Okay, and then we go back to the explain, to elaborate until such time that uh, the students give us the answers that are expected. Okay, that's why if in the 7 E's, evaluation is given even in the middle of the cycle. Okay, it is the only, I think the only E that is exempted to this cycle. You can give evaluation even in the middle of your explore part or in the middle of the cycle. Let us try to answer. Now, let's play a game. It's called the fact or bluff. Okay. You tell me if it's a fact or bluff. Inquiry-based learning involves obtaining supporting evidence to answer questions. So, is it a fact or a bluff? Okay. If your answer and then you are correct. So it is the fact that inquiry-based learning involves obtaining support. Next is okay, factor bluff. Teachers must always apply the science and inquiry based. Is it a fact or bluff? Okay, if you answered bluff, okay, and then now you are it's a bluff. No, it's not okay. The teacher can no may not use or may not apply the method in order to make their lessons interdisciplinary and inquiry based. So it's a bluff. Okay, next. Fact or bluff? Inquiry based learning is only for high achieving learners. Is it a fact or a bluff? The answer is K, bluff. Inquiry-based learning is for all types of learners. That's why it is called as a student-centered learning approach. No, it is the readiness, always the readiness of your students. It is always the readiness. It's always about how the student will learn best about your topic. It is not how the teacher want the student or what the teacher wants the student to learn, but how the students and the readiness of the students. Okay. With much so, uh, we have some technical problems. Again, thank you for staying and thank you for listening.
All right, so there you go. All right, we're having a okay, here we go. Am I on the screen ready? All right. All right, so here you go. Thank you so much. Um, again, wait. I have to pull out something here. Yes, thank you so much. Here we go. Yes, Ma'am Ari June M. Dazo. All right, for providing us with an opportunity to deepen our understanding. All right, on the interdisciplinary approach to teaching science using the 7A model. All right. So we came to understand that the CV or the 7E learning cycle model is some kind of model that can actually guide students to actively acquire new knowledge with 7E, right? So as much as I can remember, 7E that stands for, all right, elicit, all right, engage, explore, and explain, and so on and so forth. All right, so this is fantastic. You know, teaching materials using 7E learning cycle can actually help students understand the problems and phenomena they encounter in the environment. All right, so again, thank you so much, Mom Dazo, for yes, sharing us the opportunity to deepen our understanding on the subject, the 7A model, and of course, get together with the interdisciplinary approach to teaching science. All right. So, again, thank you so much, Ma'am Dazo, for the time you shared with us for tonight's webinar. All right. So, Ma'am Dazo will join us again later for the question and answer segment. All right. So, uh, an exciting and fun-filled online quiz game competition is coming up next. So, brace yourself, guys. All right, sorry for that. I didn't realize my microphone was on mute. All right, so here we go. So we now come to the online quiz game competition, and this is open for all our live audience tonight who wish to join. All right, so in a few minutes, we are about to start with our online quiz game competition. So I invite everyone in our, especially among our live audience, to please join us. All right, certificate of recognition awaits the winners. All right, so yes. So as of now, we still have a few participants joining in. So probably we'll give them a minute or two to get settled and then we'll get underway. All right, so that's it. So we have a few participants joining in. Shout out to Alex Javier Alvarez, Jemima Sabilio, Marian Paquiaya, Gutib Junriel, Carlos Noel Opanto, Ricky Colema. Of course, joining us also tonight is my co-host, Ma'am Maribeth de la Cruz. We have Justine B. Sabelio, Carmela B. Hine, Cheryl Ann Infante, Gemma Benilada, Leah Facunla, Pinky T. Abela, and all right. So as of now, we have 27 participants who are joining in. All right. So lucky top 10 players who would have the most correct answers and fastest response will definitely get the certificate of recognition. All right. For tonight's webinar. Okay, so we have 29 as of this time. Ryan Joshua P. Larian, thank you, sir, for joining us for tonight. We have Joel Bernasor, Carlos Noel Opanto, I think I mentioned that name already. Emily A. Fran J. All right. Who else? We have Aftab, Jet, all right, Jason Teodosio, Sherelle Cos Anglita, and Crisel M. Tubig. All right. We have Mr. Alsher J. Arpeleda. All right. Okay, so I think. All right, so I think we're about to start. All right, so keep on joining us, guys, because in just a few minutes, our online quiz game competition is about to start. All right, and we're sharing on the screen the competition code. That's quiz IGP. All right, there you have it, folks. All you have to do is you simply type in the code quiz IGP on the window screen that's on the slido.com dashboard. Okay, you simply type in that one and then you're good to go. So as of this time, ladies and gentlemen, we have 33 participants joining in our online quiz competition for tonight. All right. Can we Isaiah get wicked? All right. And then who else? All right. So as of now, we have 34 participants joining in. Brace yourself, guys, because in just a few minutes or two, we are about to start with our online quiz game competition for tonight. All right. Did I mention Jamyang Lamo is HSS? All right. Thank you, sir, for joining us. Crisalve Balatukan Labaw. And who else? So we have 36 participants as of this time. Gutib Junrail, I think I've mentioned your name. All right. We have certain Opanto here. Jamaya Haji Umar. All right. Thank you for joining us. Did I mention Jason Teodosio? All right, so 37 participants who are joining in. For those who are just joining in, all right, thank you so much. Again, lock it top 10 players who will get the most correct answers and fastest response time will definitely get the certificate of recognition. And so we are about to start. First question we have: Millennial and Gen Z, is it prefer a more informal and collaborative approach, or communication is technology dependent, shortening words and abbreviating? All right, time is up and Slido is now processing the result. The correct answer is communication is technology dependent, shortening words and abbreviating. Congratulations. All right, 68% of our live audience got the correct answer. So we've got Gemma Benilada on top of the list, followed by Alex Javier Alvarez, Shirel and El Infante, Queen Diana, January Cindy, and I can hardly read the fifth one, okay, as it's been covered by, uh, you know, all right. So anyway, congratulations. Okay, that is just the first question. We still have lots of questions. Second question, there are 5 types of leadership. Is that true or false? All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, and time is up. The correct answer is false. Unfortunately, only 18% of our live audience were able to get the correct answer. All right, so that's false. So we've got Flomi Raguel Salvejo this time, all right, ranking as first on our list, followed by Emily A. Franjay, Queenie Rose Ivy C. Salvejo, and of course Gemma Benelada on the fourth spot for the first 2 questions only. All right, so we've got 8 more questions. All right, so no worries, guys, no worries. Everything can happen here. Just keep on submitting your answer as fast as you can. Next question. This leadership type is self-directed. Is that autocratic or leader as conductor? All right. Keep on submitting your answer as fast as you can. And time is up. And Slido, please tell us the correct answer. It's autocratic. All right. 54% of our participants got the correct answer. So congratulations. All right. So Emily A. Frangi now being on the top of our list. All right. Followed by Flomi Ragual Salvejo, Queenie, Queenie Rose Ivy Salvejo, and the fourth one is Shirel and El Infante on the fourth spot. All right. No worries, guys. We still have 7 questions remaining. All right. So we have here our next question. Which of the following is not a millennial term? Is it LOL or HHWW? Is it LOL or HHWW? Double HW. Slider, please tell us the correct answer is it's HHWW. Okay, personally, I don't know what does that HHWW mean. All right, so still Emily A. Frangi is on the top of our list, followed by Queenie Rose Ivy C. Salvejo and Sherelle and El Infante in the third spot. And on the fourth spot, we've got Reiki R. Kulema. All right. Next question, guys. The millennial generation has how many farmers? Is it 257,454 or 743,526 farmers? Farmers. Okay, sounds unique. The correct answer is 257,454 farmers. Okay, congratulations, but 64% of our live audience got the correct answer. All right, so Emily A. Frangi still our top scorer. All right, for the first 5 questions of our online quiz game for tonight. And Queenie Rose on the second spot, Cheryl and El Infante on the third, and Ricky R. Colema on the fourth spot. I'm sorry for the fifth spot, but I can hardly read the name as it's being covered with, uh, the, what do you call this? A navigation button, something of that sort. And now let's proceed with our next question. What are the 4 pillars of UPA's or UPA's PH Millennial BRG? I'm not quite familiar with this abbreviation. All right. Again, what are the 4 pillars of UPS PH Millennial BRG? Is it integrity, collaboration, creativity, equality, or integrity, collaboration, creativity, and equity? The correct answer is it's option number 1. That's equality. Okay. The other one is equity, and those are two different things, guys. Those are two different things. That's integrity, collaboration, creativity, equality. What makes the option number 2 differ is it's equity. All right. So majority of our live audience or participants got the correct answer. Emily A. Frangi was able to maintain her spot being on the top of the list. All right. Followed by Queenie Rose Ivy C. Salvejo on the second spot. Number 3, Cheryl and El Infante. And number 4, Flomi Ragual Salvejo. All right. So we still have 4 remaining questions, guys. Don't you worry. Next question. According to Millennial Survey, which category should take the highest priority? Is it employee employee well-being or employee growth and development? Is it well-being or the growth and development that should take the highest priority? The correct answer is, oh, sorry for that, guys, but the correct answer is employee or employee well-being. All right. Unfortunately, only 24% of our participants were able to get the correct answer. All right. That's the highest priority before growth and development, well-being, or our health. Emily A. Frangi was still on the top of our list, being the number one or top scorer, followed by Queenie Rose Ivy Salvejo. This time, our top three is Ricky Arculema, and I think Cheryl and El Infante maintained, all right, her spot on being the number four on the list. Next question: what is the percentage of millennial active workforce in Asia? Is it 57.6% or 67.5%? All right. Slido, please show us what's the correct answer. It's 57.6%. All right. Only 47% of our participants were able to get the correct answer. And Emily A. Frange, okay, still our top scorer as of this moment, followed by Ricky Arcolema, Cheryl and El Infante, and Leah Faconla this time on our fourth spot. All right, so second to the last question, what is a teaching model? Is it a plan or pattern that can be used to shape the curriculum, or a teaching method? Which do you think is the closest answer for a teaching model? Slido, please reveal us the correct answer. It's a plan or pattern that can be used to shape the curriculum. Congratulations, guys, but 89%, majority of you got the correct answer. All right. So let's go back to our dashboard and check who's going to be on the top of the list. It's still Emily A. Franjay. All right, followed by Ricky Arculema, Cheryl and Infante. Okay, climbing one spot before. She was on the fourth spot, but she's now on the third spot. And Leah Faconla conquering the fourth spot this time. So we have one last question. All right. So brace yourself, guys. Last question says, in which model will you find the transmissions approach? Is it learner centered or mastery learning teaching? All right. Time is up, and Slido is now processing and giving us the correct answer, which is mastery learning teaching. All right, so 39% of our participants got the correct answer. And so let's go back to our dashboard and check, okay, who's gonna be our top scorer winner for tonight. Congratulations, Emily A. Franjay, for winning the online quiz game competition for tonight. All right. And so the same is true with Cheryl and El Infante, Ricky R. Colema, Carmela behind Leah Faconla. All right. For the top five, anyway, we'll be awarding top 10 winners. All right. You deserve a certificate of recognition for tonight's webinar. All you have to do, guys, is you simply find out the link that we'll be posting on the description below. for you to get access to download your e-certificate. By the way, as I have just reminded you in my introductory part that our website is still undergoing a maintenance, but still you can download your e-certificate for tonight's webinar as we'll be sharing you the certificate code just before this webinar ends. And so the Q&A is up next. The question and answer portion is up next. So we encourage you guys to prepare your question by simply typing in the chat box window. All right. So we have to project that on the screen for our speaker to read the question and provide the answer immediately. All right. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, your questions will now be entertained by our speakers for tonight. So here we go. Let's call back our speakers. Kindly please turn on your camera for our audience to see you on how you're gonna be answering their questions live for tonight. All right. So here we go. We have the first question here coming from Florimi R. Salvejo. Good evening, everyone. To Sir Julius, why do millennials value teamwork? And to Ma'am Ari June, what is the strength and weaknesses, or what are the strengths and weaknesses of interdisciplinary approach? Now let me start with Sir Julius. Okay,
Sir, good
about
evening,
the
sir,
value
again.
of teamwork. Yes, good evening.
Yes, good evening, sir. So the question was, why did millennials value teamwork? So as we observe to our young leaders nowadays, so they value teamwork so much because they are very outgoing person. No, they really love to collaborate with with their peers. They are fun with asking ideas to their peers, and aside from that, they collaborated in a different work such as very creative, very interesting. So when they work together with their peers, they find it more interesting and they can assert more ideas that make their projects and activities more productive and effective. I think that is the thing why they really love to value teamwork as their key in more successful leadership.
All right, thank you so much, Sir Julius, for answering that question. And in addition to that, probably because of their young age, they need to generate more ideas from somebody else. That's why they value teamwork the most. All right. So let's proceed with Ma'am Arid. June, what are the strengths and weaknesses, or simply put it this way, strength, just one strength and weakness of interdisciplinary approach, the pros and cons of, interdisciplinary approach. Uh, Hello, ma'am. I think your microphone is on mute.
Hello.
Yes, that's it.
Okay.
Okay.
So the strength of the interdisciplinary approach is that the student has the opportunity to answer or the question or formulate the answer of a problem in a different disciplines, not just focus on one single discipline.
Okay.
Okay.
That's why
But
it's
the
interdisciplinary.
yes, but the
Okay. So,
downside of this interdisciplinary approach is that I guess the limit of the teacher, I guess
yes.
the art of questioning of the teacher,
Mm-mm.
that is the I think the downfall of the approach. If the teacher has uh, not developed a good
Yes.
questioning ability, art of questioning.
Yes. Okay. Especially when she lacks experience in terms of implementing the interdisciplinary approach, providing knowledge to the students in a comprehensive manner and holistic. All right. So I think I link with your idea. Okay. The kind of teacher that we are recruiting is, very important. All right. So here's another question for you, Ma'am Dazzle. What is mastery learning teaching?
Okay. The mastery learning teaching is that you allow your students to formulate or you give your the output of your student is through their own words or their ability. No? The answer is from their own way of thinking, and level of understanding.
All right. Thank you so much, Ma'am Dazzle, for answering that question. I hope that answered the question of our one of our live audiences here. Okay, simply a Facebook user. All right. So,
Thank you, Facebook user.
so do we have other question from our live audience? All right. Okay. So let's wait for a few seconds. If there are questions to be raised by our live audience for tonight. All right. So if there are no further, yes. So that's the indication that there are no further questions. Okay. So if there are no further questions, I would like to bring this segment to a close and ask you guys to show our appreciation or your appreciation to our dynamic invited speakers for tonight. We have Sir Julius Jimenez Bailon and Ma'am Erid June M. Dazo. All right. So, on behalf of the Institute of Global Professionals, what's happening to me? I'm stuttering. We would like to express our heartfelt thanks and appreciation to you for taking time off of your busy schedule and join us for tonight's or today's webinar. And of course, to our live audience tonight, we appreciate your keen interest in this webinar. Your time and effort is much appreciated. Thank you. We hope that you have gained considerable insight into our discussion for tonight's session on millennial leadership and teaching approach in science. All right. Do check out the link on the description below for you to get your e-certificate downloaded for tonight. Again, we regret to inform you that our website is still inaccessible as we are. Oh, so much noise on the background. All right. Again, we regret to inform you that our website is still undergoing maintenance, so you can hardly access our website for this moment. But I think our staff would be sharing you on the I mean, they will be sharing you the description in the description below the link for you to download your certificate for tonight, as there are participants who are asking. Okay, like Justine Balagta Sabelo, he was asking, are there any updates for the processing of e-certificates? Okay, I was able to talk with Sir Kamrul earlier, and he was telling me no problem with the certificate for tonight, as they will be sharing you the link probably on the description below. Just check that out. And then once you click that one, and then you will be redirected to a landing page where you can download your e-certificate and have it downloaded. All right. So we'll see you again tomorrow for another webinar series. This has been Gafor M. Panimbang saying, keep continuing learning. Thank you and God bless.